Hello, it is me, Last Word FC, and I'm coming at you with something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a fairly big news update from not only Leeds United, but somewhere else in the football world as well. Lots and lots of little stories rather than a deep dive into another one. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and let's get into it. First up, we have to delve into the potential for a Willy Gnonto departure in January. According to Fabrizio Romano, this could be a possibility, and one of the clubs that was potentially mentioned, or should I say was specifically mentioned as not being part of negotiations or something like that, was Tottenham. And I thought this was really, really interesting because it opens up a potential door for a swap deal for Joe Rodon. Leeds United are likely going to consider a move for Rodon in January purely because getting him permanently would be absolutely key, and it's something that we wouldn't need to do in the summer afterwards. Signing him permanently would set us up perfectly for the rest of the promotion push, and even if we have an issue next season, it means we're not going to have to fight for him then. However, it's not going to be an easy negotiation on either side. Leeds United have already proven that in terms of Willy Gnonto, we're not going to let go with ease. It's not going to be something that just happens. And we all know what Spurs are like when it comes to negotiations, with Harry Kane's negotiation weirdly skyrocketing up and up and up. It looks like it won't be an easy one to get across the line on either side, but if there is goodwill, then it could happen. Potentially a swap deal, but I really don't see us wanting to get rid of Gnonto in the winter. Maybe it'll just be straight buying Joe Rodon. There is some more news on Willy Gnonto, however, in the fact that he was potentially injured on Italy duty. I've said Italy duty. I know it's technically Italy's under-21s, but it's fine. The fact of the matter is, it could put him out of some crucial matches in December. December is where all of the football suddenly gets rushed into a single month. I think we got 7 or 9 matches throughout 30 days or something. It's absolutely bonkers. And the fact that we'll potentially be missing Willy Gnonto is a big problem, because what happens if Crescencio Somerville gets an injury? In that case, we bring on Anthony or Gnonto. But what if one of those get an injury as well? Then you're delving into the depths of Poveda, maybe trying Rutter out wide or changing the system. Having as many players fit as possible, at least throughout December, is absolutely key, especially considering we've already lost Pascal Struijk and we've got one more injury concern that I'm going to delve into in a little bit more detail later on. Fitness is key in the Championship, in essence. You need a big squad to do well. Bielsa somehow managed to break that mould by only playing with something like 21 players plus the youth academy, but the majority of managers will want as many players as possible going into this period. On the subject of players potentially being at Leeds United, one of the loanees has had a word about a potential return. It's another one from the Bundesliga, following in Brendan Aronson's footsteps. And in an interview, Leeds United were brought up a little bit. It doesn't seem like he's exactly screaming and eager for a return, but there's a conversation to be had here, as Max Wober has acknowledged there is potential for a comeback. He didn't leave on the best of terms. He left very, very suddenly after a lot of people were like, he'll do really well in the Championship. Because he would have. Let's be fair. Because the Championship is below his level. He's gone to Mönchengladbach and he has performed pretty admirably. He's been one of their better players so far this season. He doesn't tend to miss any games. He's quite good, as much as we don't like to admit it. But he has said that it's not really in his hands, which is completely fair. He seems to acknowledge the fact that he's not at Leeds United right now when we are pushing for promotion. He can see there is a reason that fans might not like him being a part of that structure. And that's something that I admire, the fact that he's got sort of the self-awareness to say, maybe I won't be welcome back. It's not in my hands. We'll see what happens. It's not just in the fans' hands or in Vuba's hands. It's in Daniel Farke's hands and Parag Marate. It's a big question of, do we want him to stick around? Because we know if things will get tricky, he might just leave again. There's a lot of questions to be asked around Max Vuber, Rasmus Christensen, who I think is more of a clear-cut case, considering he said, I definitely want to stay, and then swanned off. But there are a lot of conversations to be had around those players that were given these clauses and are exclusively using clauses that they were granted in their contracts, but still haven't exactly shown dedication. However, there isn't a buy option, in his loan deal with Mönchengladbach, which means that there is going to have to be some fresh negotiation in the summer, no matter what. Whether that is negotiation over, I will return with this much playtime, or Daniel Farke saying, I demand this from you and you can stay, or if it's a sale, or if it's a loan. There will need to be more conversations had next summer. There has also been a quick Everton. My microphone is closer than I thought that was. There has also been a very, very quick Everton update. There have been court papers released, separate court papers, that revealed that Leeds have a case for compensation. Now, you might notice the ellipses there, and you might think, oh, Joe's been a little bit messy with the wording. I'm not. I'm just taking out filler. The second ellipsis is just a list of clubs. The first one is separate court papers revealed today or something like that. I just needed to fit it in a banner. Further articles and releases of lots and lots of documentation on the commission decision. It's 28,000 documents. It's not an easy read. I just found a simplified article. Said that Everton saw a clear sporting advantage from their massive overspend because they bought players that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And whilst a lot of Everton fans have come into various comment section, including mine, which was really, really fun, and said that they have mitigating factors, that's also been exquisitely broken down, step by step. The mitigating factors did not mitigate a single thing. First up, it said that they should have done more to resolve the player X situation, which is the Everton midfielder that was accused of various crimes against young people. I'm not going to name them just in case. And it said something along the lines of they should have done more to deal with his contract situation, done more to either come to a settlement with him or severely reduce his pay because he had caused damage to the brand, I think. In addition to that, there has been discussion over a Russian sponsor that the war in Ukraine ruined. First up, if I was an Everton fan, would be significantly less asked about a financial deal with a Russian company than the lives of Ukrainians, but that's a different question, especially considering you got Mikolenko. Come on, get some perspective. But in addition to that, the Russian sponsor wouldn't have come into force and started paying until 2025. Everton said that there had been negotiations between them and the company to start in 2022, but it didn't happen. And the fact that you're in negotiations to make a deal happen and then things fall apart does not mean that a deal was going to happen. So Leeds, in theory, have grounds for some compensation. I guess lawyers will be paid a hell of a lot of money to work out what the hell to do with this one. Final piece of Leeds United news is around Sam Byram and his injury. He picked up a hamstring pull against Plymouth Argyle in the first match before the international break. I was a little bit spooked by that because I was like, oh no, it's happening again. However, he was taken off very, very quickly as a precaution just to make sure that he would remain fully fit, that he'd be completely fine, and we wouldn't have significant issues that would need to recover over the international break. In addition to that, it's reportedly completely unrelated to the injuries he had at Norwich, which means that we're not at risk of losing him for 21 months, even though his contract only has another 6-7 months on it. I think we'll extend that, to be honest. He's been really good. And although he was taken off as a precaution, we don't yet have an update for Rotherham. So for the Rotherham match, we might be missing Sam Byram. We're definitely missing Pascal Stroke. Willy Gnonto is definitely on the fence. We will find out when there is a European qualifier for the Italy under-21s later. That's been all the news I can think of. Comment what you think below. Like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe. Even become a channel member. And I will see you later.